Welcome back, Wanderers, to the final episode of Cleaning the Commonwealth. Today, we are visiting Far Harbor. In this episode, we are going to be going to all 4 locations of the DLC. This has been such a fun end to this journey, and I'm really so excited to show it all off to you guys. We will be visiting Longfellow's Cabin, Dalton Farm, National Park Visitor Center, and Echo Lake Lumber, in that order, for the tours and comparison photos. Now, if you've tuned into my Sunday streams, you've already seen a good portion of what I'm going to show off today, minus a couple details here and there. So shout out to you all for keeping me going during this series. But for those of you that haven't watched the streams, grab some snacks, make yourself comfortable, and enjoy a clean Far Harbor. Alright, first things first, we are taking a look at Longfellow's Cabin. Now this settlement is actually pretty big when you look at it from above. We have this entire island to work with, so you could go pretty crazy with it, but I stayed mostly contained to the cabin that we have here at the end of the path. It's a cozy little cabin. We got our outhouse next to it, a nice hunting shack behind it that could use a little bit of love, a little bit of care on the walls there. And then we have this pretty sweet walkway, pier area going along the backside of the island, which leads to a nice view of the Far Harbor town, actually, from the island here. So a great spot overall for us to work with. Now, we're going to dive straight into the next one for the before tour. That means we are going to check out Dalton Farm here. Daltons were some of the rich people on Far Harbor Island. They had a big old mansion house, and it looks like it was a little store there. Kinda didn't realize that was a store. I must have forgot. I was doing these restorations early in the morning, so typically I tried to make them all look exactly like they did beforehand, but we ended up going a different direction with that building. Otherwise, you know, the beach all dirty. We got giant shrimp, some dead fish. Got to clean it all up, and not really much of a farm there. I'm just gonna point that out, but we'll come back to that. Lastly, not lastly, just next we have the visitor center. This place is pretty well kept. We have some signs that got tossed around, a lot of leaves, a lot of dead trees and such, and some barricades going along the outside that crazy Uncle Ken has set up here as he's now living out of the park center. Now, I didn't realize that porch there was pre-war, but that is definitely a pre-war structure that they have built on top of. They put those ramps there for you to get out to the roof on the ceiling of this building. The inside all covered in debris, but mostly well mapped out. I mean, this is obviously a gift shop. It has a sign, it has the shelves, it has stuff still on the shelves. The bathrooms over here, very well defined, as well as the, office space, the ranger station. I'm not sure really what goes on down there besides displays and people talking. And upstairs, outside, is the patio. Of course, we need to fix up this roof. This won't look like that at all. And we have the employees section back here. Some break rooms and potentially some more offices for them to work out of. And just for reference for us to look at, nothing else really going on back here on this hill. And lastly, now we have Echo Lake Lumber, which the Lumber Festival was going on looks like around the time that the bombs dropped. How unfortunate. So looking around this area, we have a couple of buildings. That one was all closed off. This one's pretty destroyed inside, filled with a bunch of stinky ghouls. Previous shoppers and festival goers, one can only assume. Outside, we have a nice little stadium area to overlook the festivities, the log cutting and log running activities. I don't really know what all they do at a lumber festival. Some more shelves upstairs and a employee section behind the doors. Just storage in the roof area. Going around the rest of it, pretty standard stuff, just kind of, you know, standard logging area, lots of storage for the logs, some transportation, trailers. All checks out. Pretty standard stuff here, right? Cool. So, if you are interested in how I was able to clean this up the way I did, or if you want to play it all like me, I do have a link to all of the mods that I'm using. I've created a Nexus collection, and I have a link to it in the video's description. Alright, let's get started on the after tour. First up is Longfellow's cabin. So, heading on down the path here. Really big fan of this path. It feels kind of like a magical bridge to Terabithia kind of path that we're going. Of course, you know I had to add string lights to the patio to make it a stew home. Otherwise, it's mostly the same. I really just restored the look of it and upgraded his kitchen to now have an actual oven and sink, some real counters. The outhouse has been repainted and rebuilt. Same with the hunting shack in the back. Added some benches in here. And our walkway, which I added some lights in case someone wants to walk out at night. There's that view I was mentioning. Not too shabby. Walk around the island. Great view of the ocean. And on this side of the walkway we have a little fisherman's hut, as well as our sailboat. It's more of a tourist attraction than real use. I'm not sure what to make of the sailboat. It doesn't look like it's very usable, so just tried to work around it. This little fisherman's hut, totally custom built. That's why you can see some little gaps and things here, but did the best I could. I think it turned out pretty well. Every little detail in here, trying to make it seem realistic, like people can really work out of it. People really do work out of this hut. And of course need to have some nice decorations along the outside so that you know what you're looking at. Good fisherman's hut. That's it for Longfellow's cabin. Alright, on to the next. We have Dalton's farm. Heading down the road here. I'm skipping all the cars and bus stops and things for this just to keep things moving along a little bit quicker. Going into Dalton's house, this is a big one and one of the only ones I've seen with these floor-to-ceiling windows. Those are just gorgeous there. I tried to do them justice with the kitchen. I think it turned out pretty well. It's supposed to look pretty fancy, you know, this is a rich family. They gotta have nice decorations. It's gotta be swanky. It's gotta be color coordinated. Here is the famous farm, which is really just more of a garden, in my opinion. I mean, I think pretty much every settlement has a bigger farm than that. So for them to call themselves a farm is a bit of an exaggeration, in my opinion. Excuse me. Trying to get upstairs. Excuse me, if you could just let me through here. Excuse me. I said, excuse me. Now get out of the way! Thank you. Okay. Alright. Sorry I had to raise my voice at you there. You understand how things get. It's a little tense. Sorry about that. Alright, moving on. Second floor. we have a bookshelf and desk, our little common area. We have the kids' bedroom first. It's a nice TV behind the door. Of course, their dressers. another bookshelf. It's a very learned family, very well-read household. And in here we have the bathroom. Nothing too crazy. Simple bathtub. Typical setup. Behind the final door is our library. Just a nice little spot. A little nook in the house to go and read, hang out, listen to some tunes, look at the great views. And on the third floor we have the main bedroom, which oddly enough doesn't have any windows in the actual main bedroom, so I'm not sure if this was just supposed to be used for storage beforehand, if it was never supposed to be this big, who knows. But I went ahead and added a bathroom on this side, and I think with enough windows here and the doors all open, it brings in enough natural light. It's not the worst place I've ever been. Behind this door is the walk-in closet. Now, all the laundry is currently being done, so the closet's looking a little empty right now. Let's go ahead and check out the other building. Of course, we have our car, and next door to us, like I said, I didn't realize this was a store beforehand. I guess that just slipped my mind as I was rebuilding this place. So the community voted on this being somewhat of like a servant's quarters, and that's what I tried to create here. We have a nice compact quarters in the main room, and the bathroom slash laundry room for both the servants and the main house going on behind the door there. Not the worst place to live in. Somewhat spacious, a little bit of entertainment, their own kitchen. I think it turned out okay. We have the truck where they take their supplies to and from the city. I don't know, their fresh catches of fish or whatever the Dalton family does, because they sure aren't sending out farm supplies. I mean, come on. That was not a farm. Can we all agree on this? The Dalton farm is not a farm. They have a pretty nice beach here, though. Pretty sweet. Alright, moving on. National Park Tour is the next one for us to check out. Now, I didn't have a good mod for replacing those bushes in the middle, so I just put down some green planter bushes instead. And I added a little basketball hoop to the parking lot, because that's always fun to have. You will notice, though, that all the cars are the pre-war replacements of the destroyed cars that were in the parking lot. So, real attention to detail on that note. And all of the signs and the machines, pretty much the same. I just picked them up, moved them around, cleaned things up. Got rid of the dirt piles and the trash, the tires, cleaned up the benches, replaced what needed to be. And of course got rid of all of the barricades. You will notice some signs not to feed the bears. We do take that very seriously here at the Visitors Park Center. Please watch your kids. Do not feed the bears. It's been a real issue. You guys would not believe the headache it's been causing me here. And finally we have the National Park Center, the Visitor Center here. Now this is somewhat based on the real Visitor Center, at least the outside of it was. So I decided the inside of this place should look somewhat like the real one as well. And the real one has this giant map of the Far Harbor Island, so I thought I would put this giant map in the center of the room as you come in. Now, of course we have the gift shop. Didn't do too much here besides just replacing shelves, replacing items, cleaning it back up, trying to make it look nice, look usable. The only thing I can't seem to get to stay still is this trash can. No matter what I do, it just does not want to rotate back. So I'm just going to leave that for management to take care of. Back here, the work desk area. I don't have anything going on in the displays. Sorry, it's kind of boring there, but I feel like we've seen it enough. I've done all the displays I can think of, it's just going to be like a gun or a flag or something. I mean, what can we put in there? We're running out of things. My creativity is running low. Anyway, of course, we had to fix up the walls, the rafters, the ramp that was going on up there, and it looks nice and neat. The employees only section with our office filled with boxes. Like I said, this bear thing has been a real headache for us. If you guys could watch your kids. We are drowning in lawsuits back here. This is our simple break room. Some snacks. And if the employees are feeling it, if it's a nice day, they can go out onto the patio, get some sun, hang out. One of the perks of the job. Alright, checking around the corner. Of course, like I mentioned, there is the farm. We have our water purifier and the ranger's cabin for the employees, the rangers that are out here working 24/7 that can't just go home every day. They have some temporary housing out here at the national park. Again, it's not the nicest place, but it'll do. It's, I think, the only building I've made with a fireplace, so that's kind of swanky. The bathroom is admittedly pretty skinny, pretty small, but technically functional. This does work. You fit in there, you can walk around, do what you gotta do. I mean, I've been in worse, people, so I'm not complaining, especially if it's free housing, Whole lot better than having to drive home every day. Alright, that's it for National Park Tour. Lastly, we have Echo Lake Lumber with the Lumberjack Festival happening today. Oh, how exciting! Alright, coming in from the parking lot, let's head on into the main building. Of course, we have our vending machines out front for all of your quick needs. And this is a super duper mart inside. And oh, did I take my time on this. This is split out by section. We have food and drinks right up front. We have some home goods in the next aisle. We have books and globes on the other side of it. If you go on to the next aisle, we have clothes, as well as some silverware, dishes, bowls, cups, things like that. You head on upstairs, and we have our lovely cafe restaurant here. I mean, we have everything going on. They got Slocum Joe's donuts, they got fine wines, ice cream, lobster rolls. This is the place to be while your kids are watching dudes run on logs. You got farm to table, fresh food right here. This is the restaurant to be. Behind this door is the employee section, which I didn't do much to. I just replaced the old appliances and things to make it look somewhat nicer back here. The storage upstairs is pretty much identical. I mean, I might have added a couple of boxes, but it's basically the exact same upstairs as how they left it, because that's how it was, right? That's right. So going on down the bottom floor of the store, we have some more aisles. We have our Mr. Handy and cleaning supplies, as well as some tools on the other side. All of our flowers and vases. More cleaning supplies in here. I don't know, cigarettes and American flags. Electronics on the other side. Some baby supplies and ironing, things for mothers, and the kids aisle, the toy section. All split up. Pretty sweet little store there. I spent way too much time. And lastly, we have the stands out here, again, to watch the festivities. You could head on down to your left, which has some cool little visitor booths. Now, this was outside of my jurisdiction, so I'm not gonna lie, it looks a little junky. They did not clean this up very well, but there's some toss challenges, some fun games. some things to do. Get some ice cream over here as well. Not as nice as my restaurant. I recommend going to the cafe. Like I said, it is farm to table. This is fresh food we're growing right there. And, well, the rest of Echo Lake Lumber, mostly storage. I mean, this is a lumber yard, so we got a lot of logs lying around. We're cutting logs back here. Cutting logs. And if you go down the stairs, we have a little bit of fishing going on, because, you know, we got to get the fresh lobster, the fresh fish for our cafe back here as well. There is one last building to check out. That is the building up front. You're probably thinking, hey Stu, where does everybody go to the bathroom? You know, there's a lot of people out here at this lumber festival. And you're absolutely right. That's why we have the visitors bathroom in this building here. Now, it's only half of the building, you'll notice, but it's enough space for us to have a men and women's bathroom. Plenty of privacy. You know, private enough. As long as no one's walking by outside peeking into the window there. I'm sure they have curtains or something they can do. Anyway, on the other side here, going into the door, is the residence quarters. And I think I did pretty good with, you know, half a building of space. This is not the worst place to live in. So it's really just bare bones. It's meeting all of the requirements, but it's a place for them to lay their head. And that's it, not only for Echo Lake Lumber, but for all of Far Harbor and all of Fallout 4. Thank you all again so much for joining me on this journey. This has been incredible, and I am so excited for what 2025 is going to bring. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.